Hello there guys, this is Eli G. Brown / Eli G. Brony here with another MOC, which is actually supposed to be based on something that we've seen in the TV series. This is Stormer and his motorcycle from the Breakout episode. If you haven't seen the episode, in that episode, the villains all break out of prison, and it's all up to the heroes to go and recapture the villains. And Stormer has gone to recapture Speed Demon. And in that episode, Stormer gets this motorcycle, which is supposed to be a recolor of the Furno bike that we got in the first series of Hero Factory sets. So Stormer got one for the episode Breakout, but we don't get this bike in actual set form. This is a MOC. This is something that I've made, custom. It's not an official set, it's just a MOC. And I actually have done this sort of thing before, though it is slightly different from how I did it before. And the reason for that is because I went and did the whole disassembling of some of my MOCs in order to bring back some of the official Bionicle and Hero Factory sets. And I, over time, went and got some new pieces in order to bring the Stormer bike back. So, this is what I have right here, as well as a custom Stormer figure, which is pretty much scaled down to fit with the bike. Now, this is actually not supposed to represent Stormer if he was a normal-size hero in Breakout, but not as an XL. This is actually just supposed to be his XL form, but at a smaller scale, so that it fits better with the Furno bike, because with the original Stormer XL, it pretty much was very large to fit onto the bike. Of course, he's not a perfect scaled down replica, because his chest armor is actually white and not silver, but I did not have a white chest armor piece in my parts drawer, and I also did not have one from the 2.0 series, although it probably would have been awkward to use the white chest armor with the white hero core, unless you were supposed to make it look as if it was one piece. So I just went ahead and not do that. So I went with the silver chest armor piece instead. Now the Stormer mask is actually a spare one because, well, there was this Bricklink order that I made one time, and there was an error with some part that was either left off or I got the wrong one by mistake. And I contacted the seller, and the seller had sent me the correct part, and also to say sorry, they also sent me a couple of extra masks. And one of those masks happened to be a Stormer mask, so I decided to go ahead and use that on a Stormer MOC, a normal-sized version of Breakout Stormer for this instance. Okay, so I'm gonna go over and talk about the individual figures right here. Now I remember when the Breakout sets had first been released, I remember that a YouTube user by the name Jane Bricks, originally known as Lego Jane, had done a couple of alternate combination models between the heroes and villains. And the one that he did for Stormer XL and Speed Demon was one where Stormer, at normal size, a normal-sized hero, was driving this sort of vehicle that was kind of like a police cruiser. But this is not trying to be that, however. This is just trying to be a representation of what a Stormer bike set would look like if one had ever existed. Like maybe they released a set that featured a small-scale version of Stormer XL to fit with the bike, quite similar to what they did for the Furno bike. Of course, the Furno that came in that set was pretty much just the same size as the regular Furno. They just switched out some parts, the yellow parts with the red parts, and didn't put any armor on the legs. So that is basically a repeat. Well, this MOC is basically a repeat of that. So, with making the Stormer figure right here, I was pretty much dependent on any pieces that I had already, and not any pieces that I had to purchase off of Bricklink in order to get. So, Stormer has, well, in total, 3 of the shoulder armor pieces, which I think could represent the Scout's drones that Stormer had, and then the silver chest armor piece is used since, well, this piece was used on the actual Stormer XL figure. Of course, there was also the larger armor that was covering his chest, but that's not here because I don't have any parts that could represent that. I could have used the 2.0 series armor pieces, but I don't have any spare ones in white, so... And of course, that sort of piece had been completely phased out, and I wanted this to look more like the rest of the Breakout figures, to make them look more like this is something that could actually happen. Now, of course, I am aware that there are some pieces that I used on this that did not exist yet at the time Breakout had come out, such as the translucent blue bone pieces. They came out in the Shima series, and the blue armor pieces, 3 long size. I think they came out in Rain Attack, I believe. Some of them did. And I used silver feet because, well, for one thing, the original Stormer XL also had silver feet. And for another thing, I could not find any white feet, at least not in the modern feet style. And for the bike, on the other hand, well, it's pretty much the same build as the Inferno bike, but I did make one little change, and that would be the connection point to get the hero to fit into the motorcycle. I put one right here to attach Stormer into the motorcycle because, well, the way that Inferno, the original, well, not the original, but the Inferno that came in the Inferno bike set, he had some sort of connection points on his legs to attach to the side of the bike. And with the modern feet, it was just not quite possible. I mean, there are these connection points right here, but they don't really work out all that well. I mean, I guess they could sort of work out, but it's kind of putting the legs a little too close to the bike. So that's probably why they did not do that for Speed of Demon. And they obviously did not want to bring back the original style feet, though if they had, we'd have the original Toa feet in lime green, but since that did not happen, we don't have those pieces. Well, I think I've said everything in regards to this MOC right here. I don't plan on giving this version of Stormer any weapons because his whole purpose of existence is to be part of this bike right here. But anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again next time.